when a squirrel's running along that limb, you can't see a whole lot of that squirrel. But no matter what, when he gets out to the edge of that limb, that squirrel's going to stop every single time before he jumps. He'll say, if you'll wait and be patient and not shoot and know that squirrel's going to stop, you can track him, get to the point where he's going to get out to that limb, and then you can shoot him and hit him every time. Hey, welcome back to the Buck Junkie podcast. What's going on, guys?
Weather's getting cooler.
It's starting to get fall.
I don't know. It was pretty sticky this morning.
Man, we had a fog, man. I rolled in. It was thick as pea soup.
It was fog and dew. Yeah.
But it's 1 week closer to the best time of year.
We had a velvet hunt last weekend in Mississippi.
Man, it's a pretty good deer.
There was one good one in, was it Panola County or Tate County?
Panola, Marshall one.
That dude was a stud. I just don't know. I can't get, I was sitting at home last week. Well, we had the remnants of a hurricane blow through last week, and it would just rained, and man, I knew it'd be nasty. It's like, it ain't worth. I ain't mad at them enough to go out there and set mosquitoes.
And if you was in that shooting house, it'd be more mosquitoes in there. You couldn't swat them away fast enough.
I don't think the thermocell would work.
It might work with the windows closed.
Yeah, 115 degrees.
You might die too, but it was definitely sticky. I come down here. What day was it? Friday? I guess it was raining.
Brought that hog down.
Here, putting the walk in, and I went out there and checked on a couple of stands because that's right after that big rain. I figured we'd had some washing erosion areas, but everything looked pretty good though. I did get in a new stand, no leaks.
No leaks. That's important. Windows sealed up good. We've got so that's got me I got thinking about that. Man, it'd be so hot sitting in that stand. Well, we need one of them fans put in it. So we got that solar, it's like a solar power bank.
Yeah. Solar.
And I've been seeing that. You know how it is, man. I guess social media knows what you're looking at or what you're talking about.
They know what you're thinking.
Listen to us, but I started getting videos of all different kinds of blinds and accessories people were putting in them. And one of them, the dude had 2 fans rigged up, and it's like it almost looks like a computer fan or something.
Yeah.
But it was generating some air in his blind. And I was like, man, we could mount 2 of those. That's get in there and bow hunt.
With the vents in it, you can mount one at high to suck air out and down one low to blow air in.
I think one of them, was it bus driver fans to have after the front. They're 12 volt. It would work. Yeah.
It probably would work.
I want to see y'all try to get a deer close enough with that damn fan running.
So that was the one thing the dude was saying that, and you could hear it just humming. I was like, man, come on. He said, well, it's variable speed. You can turn it down, but it's still making noise. I mean,
they won't pay no attention to that.
You might as well have a microwave running a TV on if you're going to have all that.
Well,
will it run all that?
12 volt microwave.
See if that's more rifle hunting.
Yeah.
You don't need them to come within 300 yards of you. Long distance shooting.
But no, we got to put the charger in the new stand today, and then I have a separate charger. Which one are we going to put that in?
The separate one? I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards one of the Dixie blinds. Yeah. Because it ain't going to do a good put it in Trump because it don't really seal up.
Yeah.
That good, but
probably plantation, just because you spend so many hours there.
Yeah.
Keep your phone charged.
Yeah, we are in that one a lot. That one or Crossroads are the 2 that over there on that property that we stay in the longest, but
might be tricky. I guess a solar charger should work at plantation. That tree does shade that stand pretty good, but it ought to pick up something. I would think.
How much electricity do you expect that thing to make? Like, is it enough to run a car phone charger, or is it enough to actually power some lights if you wanted to in the blind? Or?
Yeah.
And you can. That's what Corey said. You can change out you can spend as much money as you want to on a battery itself. So you get a good battery and maybe even a bigger solar charger, and you can run whatever you want to.
What size battery you got to have for it?
Let me pull it up. He's got it listed.
It has one of those little, it looks like is it a 6-volt battery that goes like
square one?
Yeah, that you could use for like a game camera that they make the little plug up for, or those power wheels that your kids used to have. That's what it looks like. He gave us one.
I've done some research on this with the handicap hunt stuff, and you can get bigger batteries because some people they're running medical devices or breathing machines or whatever, when they're in the deer stands, and you just got to just up what your battery is.
Yeah, I seen one guy, he had a full blown marine battery in his.
Yeah.
That he was running fans off of. I don't know if a little one of them
Little battery would do
little
it.
batteries. You know, it'd probably run the fan for a little while. It's probably going to play out pretty quick.
Well, the good thing is if you're gonna have a fan, you're probably only talking bow season.
Yeah.
And then you really can't make noise doing it. I don't know if it's worth it or not. I did like the idea. They had I saw he had some red lights rigged up, and he had some that were like up in the top of the roof to give you some light. And I guess the red animals aren't supposed to, it's enough to see, but it's not supposed to spook stuff as bad. You see them use the green and the red color.
I've seen them with those lights in there and in some of those high end deer stands they're putting in like Texas and some of those, flat areas, but I couldn't figure out why they were putting lights in them anyways.
I guess just to give you a little bit of something.
I usually turn my headlamp on to either the red or green just to get set up, make sure I get all
You're
my stuff on
walking
my
in,
back.
do you use the green and the red, or do you use regular light?
It depends.
Man, I'd be just lighting the woods up. It don't matter.
I don't care either. I got a headlamp on. Mine don't turn colors.
You can't tell me that white little bulb floating through and a red bulb floating through, both of them look like they ain't supposed to be there.
That's right. I saw Waylon going through there. He don't even know it. His gets on strobe. And he's walking through that. Like, look at this fool coming here. He's got his strobing out. Don't even know it's on.
That must be what he had on one
Probably
day.
hunts with it stand like that.
I'll keep coyotes off.
I don't know why James got a headlamp. I ain't never seen him go to the stand in the dark anyway.
I will. It kind of depends.
He waits about 8 o'clock.
I don't know. Like, I guess you could see where the red or green isn't as maybe bright. I don't know.
I don't think it like spots. Like, you know what I mean? I've never looked at it that's a good thing from distance. We'll get you up in the deer stand, and we'll go out 300 or 400 yards away.
I can turn on the paintball gun.
Turn on the different lights. You can take the gun, see if you can shoot us.
Paintball gun, Malcolm. Paintball gun.
That'd be interesting there.
So you was talking about the deer stand thing, and Mikey said something about it in Texas. There's some guys down there building mansion deer stands.
Oh,
it's crazy.
The one Mark sent you. It's the Taj Mahal of.
They're doing like square footage stands.
Yeah.
It's not a 6x6. This is square footage.
One of the ones I seen, it was a 2-story. It was up on stilts. The bottom story it looked like the living room. They had TVs and couches and refrigerators and all, full blown kitchen in there. And then you walked up in the upper half, and it was, I guess it was up at a higher elevation. That was the shooting part, or the shooting house part of it. But
you just stay.
I guess you just stayed out there.
Ranch King blinds.
That's it, Ranch King.
Because I got looking with the Hope Outdoors and the Physically Challenged Hunt, just different stands that's handicap accessible, and they're $12,000-$15,000 just something to get this mobile for a wheelchair. I mean, it's crazy.
Imagine how much one of those cost. I mean, you're talking about they're having to bring special equipment. You're not putting that up with a tractor.
So,
no.
And they're getting
a crane to put your deer stand
up.
This one is 14 foot by 14 foot.
I mean, that's pretty dang big.
That's the size of this room we're in right now.
Yeah.
Additional customizations include climate-controlled AC and heating, refrigerator, refreshments, wooden window blinds, flat screen TV, window tent, gun rest pads, curtains for a homely touch.
Call them, see if they tote the note, Mark.
Yeah. Don't care what it costs, just what's the monthly payment.
They tote. Yeah, we need payments within our reach.
Yeah, we don't care what the overall cost is.
Slice off 5 acres for collateral over here to pay for a deer stand.
There you go.
This one has two story. It has a viewing story, and then you go up to the enclosed part that has a porch, and that's your 14 by 14. That's insane.
I don't have enough land to hunt to need one of those.
I mean, we're spoiled a lot, but that's way past spoiled.
I don't understand the concept behind it. Like, you're going to sit out there. Like, are you going to sit out there all day by yourself, and watch football and just decide, well, I'm going to go up here and sit for 30 minutes, look out the window for 30 minutes, and then I'm going to sit back down. Or, I mean,
they probably got spotters. They got spotters sitting there waiting to tell you what deer you need to shoot. Yeah. Here comes the 175 inch to the feeder. Because they're hunting feeders. I mean, that's
for sure.
That's just like, I mean, you're hunting a zoo when you're doing that. It's not like it's free range.
Yeah, I guess the one I've seen, they could probably see for a mile. Yeah. I mean, it was just little buck brush here and there, and it was just wide.
I'll tell you what would be fun, to do a prairie dog hunt out of something like that, where you could, sit there and have the game on, and you're just everybody's shooting, having a good time.
Oh, that'd be ultimate hog hunt right there.
Yeah. You just have a feeder set up for
Yep.
killing hogs. I'd be down with that too. I figured today we'd talk about the squirrel event we went to, World Squirrel Championship. We didn't really get into it last week because we had a guest on. But today we will talk about
Definitely the World Squirrel Cook Off.
So that was y'all's first time. Me and Mikey went last year. What was y'all's take on it?
I mean, all honesty, we did not get to, we were so busy, all of us, that we didn't get to spread out from our tent very much, but just the people walking by, it was in thousands.
That was a little bit more intense than I expected.
I'm guessing there's close to 10,000 people came through.
What'd they say? They had
It
1,200
was
kids?
just 1,200
Just
kids
1,200
shooting on
kids
pellet
shooting
rifles. So you
on
figure
rifles.
that's, at one parent, you're at 3,000 people almost right there. And that's not including just normal spectators just walking around.
Yeah.
And that was just the kids that shot.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
just the ones that shot. All of them probably didn't shoot.
Mm-mm.
Seen a lot of people of all walks of life, and it was
Yeah.
it was a crowd for sure.
That's what
From all over the world.
All over the world. No, for real.
the YouTube video I was watching, me and my wife was watching the other night. A guy was on there and he was going by just sampling stuff everybody had. And he's like, man, we got everybody here from Gene Simmons. He said he's seen one guy. He said, pretty sure it was Marilyn Manson too. And I'm like, yeah,
I think I've
we've seen that
guy.
one too.
I saw Marilyn.
Gene,
I don't know what that was.
Yeah. No,
Gene Simmons from Kiss.
Gene Simmons was decked out.
He had full makeup on, the demon boots. This was a lookalike guy, but he even had his old tongue.
Yeah, he had the
extended.
Gene Simmons tongue,
Yeah,
dude.
at the end of the day, I saw him sitting over on the bench. I was like, man, Gene done wore out.
Yeah.
He wasn't ready to rock no more. He done,
Probably done got hot and all that junk.
could you imagine walking around with them big platform demon boots he had on?
Man.
Uh,
That was a get up.
I was talking to your son, Mike. I was like, can you really believe that music listened to at mine and your dad's age, that's what they dressed up as to sing?
I guess there's some weird stuff out there now, but that's
Well, I
pretty
seen
strange.
several weird things up there.
it was neat to say the least. It was cool to see everybody's take on cooking squirrel because, like y'all told us before, this is not your squirrel and dumplings cooking contest. This is pretty extravagant. I didn't try any of the squirrel dishes. Seen a couple of them. The
We tried some crappie ceviche.
crappie ceviche, which was
That was
my
actually
best
pretty,
bite of the
yeah,
weekend.
that was actually pretty decent.
So
I didn't try. I don't think I had any squirrel either,
I didn't.
but we cooked. I was
Or-
going to ask you to go talk about your jambalaya that you cooked because we made probably 1,200 servings or
Yeah,
more
I'd
of
say
jambalaya.
12,
Yeah.
1,500 easy.
I know we took 1,000 bowls and we ran smooth out of
We started
bowls.
serving them in cups and everything else, but I would guess it was probably 150, 175 pounds, somewhere around in there total jambalaya
Yeah.
cooked. But
And everybody got an ice cream scoop.
everybody got ice cream scoop. Had a couple of probably over a dozen people come back raving about it. I was
I was kind of proud of how the jambalaya turned out. We actually had some full blown Cajuns come back and say that was very, very good.
So who was that guy that come up? He was the cornbread Cajun or
cooking with Cajun.
cooking with Cajun.
TikTok.
Yeah. He was there doing it. Was he doing a jambalaya too? Or
He done. I want to go down and try his, but he done the contest too. So
he was cooking.
Yeah, they had their plates full down there. But I went down there and talked to him for a little while. Jamie went down there and talked to him for a good while, and I didn't get to try his jambalaya. He critiqued
didn't either.
mine, which I don't think what we cook is a authentic. I wouldn't call it an authentic traditional jambalaya. We cook a jambalaya that's good to eat.
Yeah. Well, what makes it different than an authentic one?
I don't like a dry jambalaya. And I did try a couple other jambalayas there that day, and I guess like a authentic, like the rice don't stick together. It's a little bit drier. It's not that it's dry, but it's not. We had a creamy aspect to ours. We put cream of mushroom, cream of chicken soup in ours just to kind of thicken it up, bring it together, and it's just good, But I think that's what made ours stand out that day for sure. But I could see where that creamy aspect would make you think that the rice is overcooked. And that's what cooking with Cajun is like, man, flavor's great. He said, but your rice is overcooked. And I was like, really?
Because he said it was too sticky or gummy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that is just the cream aspect of it.
But no, it's a simple recipe. We keep everything equal parts meat, veggie, broth, everything's 10. For a 10-gallon pot, we put 10 of everything. So 10 pounds of chicken, 10 pounds of sausage, 10 quarts of broth,
10 pounds of
10 pounds of rice, 10 pounds of vegetables.
That was probably the number one question I got from people serving was what type of sausage we was using. They said that was some of the best sausage they've ever had. And it
two
was
kinds.
Two kinds. Country pleasing.
Country pleasing and Connecticut, wasn't it?
Conecuh. And I guess they're both made in Mississippi, ain't it?
Conecuh is Alabama.
Alabama.
Yeah, Country pleasing Mississippi, and it's
It's in Florence.
Yep.
The Conecuh has a good smoked sausage. It's a little smokier than the country pleasing, but if you cut it in half, mix it both,
It's great.
it's a good ratio. And to me, I think one thing we do is we darn near burn the sausage. We cook it down to where it is
Starting to
hard.
get that char on
Yeah,
it.
it's hard fried. Because then when you put it back in your broth, it softens back up, rehydrates, and I try to cook as much of that fat out as I can because that's just flavor for your chicken and vegetables.
So really, that's what starts seasoning that pot, is rendering that sausage down.
And
So you're getting all that flavor.
it was just like cooking crawfish. The first pot was good. Second pot was better. That third pot was
money. That's a
jam
money
up.
pot.
Yeah.
I thought so too, because that's the one I actually got a little bowl of it there at the end, and it was, man, it was good to me. I mean, I don't mind the creamy texture it gets from the soups that you
Yeah.
had to. We learned that from Stale Cracker.
Stale cracker.
He came up to when we did an event at the shop, and he said, "Let me fix that jambalaya. 'Cause you're cooking it the way you normally cook it."
Yeah.
And all he did was add more hot sauce, a little Worcestershire, and some cream of chicken and cream of mushroom.
Cream of mushroom or cream of chicken either.
And you do the one.
We usually try to mix if we can get, but man, the crema aisle at Kroger is getting sparse.
Slacking, yeah.
Like you can get cream of broccoli, but who the heck wants that? Like
Yeah.
I want cream of chicken or mushroom.
That cream of garlic's good.
Yeah, it is. And they do a roasted garlic and
Yeah, it's a roasted garlic.
and a roasted chicken now that's pretty good. But man, jambalaya is just like crawfish and everything else. Make it your own. Like as long as you got the main ingredients, if you think it's good, cook it. Don't worry
It
about
was a lot of versions of jambalaya and gumbo cooked up there.
Yes. I will say that I've never seen two jambalayas alike.
That's what I was going to say. Like I watched a guy on YouTube and he was videoing some guys and they done kind of the same, but it was vegetables first. Then it was, I think then he done rabbit and his maybe. And then he done completely backwards on how we do ours, but.
If you don't render down the meat first, I think that's what flavors your vegetables.
Yeah.
And that's what gives the jambalaya the whole taste.
Because like,
Because you don't have to season. It's not a ton of seasoning in the grand scheme of it. I mean, you put some Cajun seasoning in it.
most of your seasoning is coming from the sausage.
Well, you get everything from the vegetables too. Because it's like, I mean, you dice the vegetables up, but by the time you cook them, they're almost disintegrated. I mean, you're cooking them until they're just giving everything they got.
And you don't notice the chicken in it. Like the chicken's cooked down enough to where a couple of your bigger pieces will still be whole, but a lot of your chickens, it's shredded and it's tender. It's cooked down.
It just melts in your mouth.
Yeah.
The whole thing is all flavoring that rice. Once you get that right,
It was good.
there's no real secret to the rice either. What is it? One knuckle of water over the rice. What's your little technique for that?
Your first joint, which cooking with Cajun, he knew that.
Yeah.
'Cause I asked him, I said, how do you know how much rice? And he just done that. And I was like, oh,
With
okay.
those finger
Actually,
tests
him
on it?
and another guy that from Louisiana we talked to for a long time. That's what he said too. That's the only two people I've ever heard.
It gets you close
Know
enough.
it.
Now, is it perfect? But it's close enough. And it'll get you to where you have the right amount of liquid for your rice.
He told us another trick that we ain't never tried was using that parboiled rice, starting
Yeah.
with it instead of just regular dry rice.
But see, that's what don't make sense. Is what do you say? Cook it 20 minutes? See,
Yeah.
that's all we cook to dry rice.
Yeah, I don't see where you're gaining other than
So I
it
don't
makes
see
the
how,
rice stay separated. Maybe
I don't see how the parboiled rice isn't nuked cooking it for the same amount we cook fresh rice or however you call it, dry rice.
Have you ever made a deer jambalaya, deer and sausage?
No, but it's got to be
I
good.
think that's what you need to do for a buck.
What'd we
jerky
do?
this week.
We done a deer gumbo.
Yeah, and the deer gumbo's fire.
I've done chicken and sausage. I've done sausage and brisket trimmings, which that
Was pretty much on
was
point
good.
too.
I've done pork, like pork loin or pork butt,
Mhm.
cut it up and used it.
We've done pork belly. We fried the pork belly and done like chicharrones, and they rehydrate and
So they get soft.
soften up.
Yeah.
Man, the brisket one though, this is gonna make all the Cajun mad. We put white cheese dip over it at the end.
Man, it was,
And it was delicious.
It was so good.
So
It was so
it was
good.
brisket jambalaya
Yes,
with cheese dip over it.
yes, we incorporated it all, and it was delicious.
We was out of town
We
in
was at
Arkansas.
Jay's.
Oh, that's the other one you did that. Yeah, that's right. It was.
So, Mikey, you got to judge the squirrel thing. They needed some extra judges. Joe happened to come over, and you said you were willing to do it. What was that like this year?
It was
A big variety.
Yeah. I mean, it was still a good mix of stuff, just like it was when you judge it. You know, I got to sit in there with you and take pictures and try what, you know, you had tried. And it was still some of the same diversity in dishes. Some of the folks must have been new at cooking squirrel. They had to be in. We got 2 of them that were not inedible,
but close.
but you couldn't get the squirrel off the bone to taste it, so you just had to lick it like a popsicle and then set it back on the dish.
Sucked on no squirrel meat.
Yeah, they had not tried to tenderize the squirrel at all, and they had just cooked, and it had to have been a big squirrel, fox squirrel or something like it. And they had one guy had smoked his, and you could tell it was smoked. Man, you opened the box, you could smell the smoke on it, but it was just a smoked squirrel leg over like some rice or something like that. And I tried to get it off the bone, it wasn't coming. But had a couple of squirrel curry dishes. They were okay if you like curry. Not a huge fan of curry, but they were not my favorite. But the ones I scored the highest in there was a squirrel gumbo, kind of a traditional gumbo over rice, and then they had a boudin ball that they had made out of squirrel. So I'm sure they had probably bought some boudin and you know, hashed up the squirrel and worked it in with the boudin. That was one of the ones I scored really high.
I think they were beside us.
That's what those guys were frying.
Yeah.
And the people would eat
They were
jambalaya and
pretty
go
good
over.
size, wasn't they?
Yeah, they were. I mean, they were. Yeah, the size, bigger than a golf ball.
Yeah.
Was
I'm
that
pretty sure.
They had it smelling good. Well, until that grease got
The grease got too hot.
it didn't smell good at all. But when they were doing so I saw them making that gumbo.
Yeah, it was.
They cut it.
was
They
really
they
good.
started from scratch right there.
Yeah, he was over
gumbo
making
was
a roux
awesome.
that morning.
Yeah.
It was a thin gumbo with okra, and it had I think it had tomatoes in it. But it was pretty good.
I ain't crazy about gumbo with tomatoes in it.
It wasn't like heavy with tomatoes. There were just a few in there. And then there was another guy. He made a squirrel bacon ranch pizza. That one was really good. And his side was a fried apple fritter, squirrel and cheese apple fritter. I mean, not apple fritter, just a squirrel and cheese fritter. And it was really good.
like a savory. It wasn't sweet.
Yeah, it was savory. It was just like a cheese square with squirrel all in it.
Huh.
And then there was one dish that was just a plain fried squirrel over mashed potatoes and gravy, and they pegged it.
Was that the best thing you had?
Those were the best 3 dishes I had all day. Yes. But that guy or girl that did the fried squirrel, I mean, they nailed it. It was tender. It was really good. It was seasoned good. Mashed potatoes and gravy. It was awesome. It scored high. So, I mean, even though there were some other dishes in there that were really fancy and stuff like that, they didn't really execute it well. You know, and just if you know, as long as you do something, you execute it well, like that guy with that fried squirrel and gravy, to me, that was one of the best dishes. It was my top 3.
How many squirrels do y'all think were cooked? Like the people come with to that contest? Like, I mean, there's 40 teams. I bet. I mean, they all needed at least a dozen, right?
I mean, yeah.
I wish I could think the YouTube video the guy said how many he brought, and it was like
I
like
thought
2 or 3 dozen. It was a lot of squirrels.
I thought Joe said on the mic while we were picking up that it was 12 or 1,400 squirrels at that event. I thought I heard him say that. Now I may have been wrong because you got to think how many they used for the squirrel eating contest.
Yeah.
And I guess I don't know. I'm assuming they're counting the ones for the squirrel skinning, but
Man, that's the one. The squirrel skinning contest. That's got to be tough because they made them use frozen fox squirrels.
Yeah.
Y'all know how hard that would be to skin?
I wanted in it.
You wanted to try it?
Well, I was going to get in it. And then Joe asked me to go in there and do that. And by the time I came back out, they was starting it. So
we was beside it, but we really couldn't see
There
it.
were so many people we couldn't see the stage.
I watched the 2 guys that went head to head for the finals, and I think I can't remember, one of them the leg pulled off or something. Man, he literally put both of them ended up doing it, put the whole leg in his mouth, and he was pulling. He had this raw meat all in his mouth, pulling, trying to get the hide off of it, and he ended up winning.
That's hardcore there.
I could throw this squirrel down. I'm done.
He taught. So I heard him talk about that, and he said that leg was disjointed, all shot up or something, and he couldn't
pull it off.
Couldn't pull the hide off of it.
Oh,
He said he had to do what he had to do.
he bit onto it now. He was pulling.
He used his teeth and just jerked it and just had slung squirrel all over.
The other guy's like, well, I couldn't get mine off neither, but I seen him do it, so I did it too.
Yeah.
They both had feet in their mouth.
But that was the tightest race they'd had. I think the guy that went has won it, I think every year they've had it, which is 3 or 4 years now.
He won it this year too, didn't he?
His name's Clifton Jackson. He's a biologist for the
he kind of
state of Arkansas.
dude.
Yeah, he used to be in charge of several wildlife management areas over in the state of Arkansas, but he's super into squirrel hunting. I guess he's been squirrel hunting all his life. He's actually got a squirrel rifle named after him. There's a company called Cooper Firearms, and they were like out of Montana or somewhere, but recently an Arkansas company has bought them, and so it's called Cooper Rifles of Arkansas now. But I guess he met the owner of that company back in the day. The guy wanted to go squirrel hunting, so he come down to Arkansas, and he took him squirrel hunting. He had a big time or whatever, and I guess he thought enough of him that he actually designed a squirrel rifle and named it the Jackson. I think it's the Jackson model Cooper rifle. It's a squirrel gun.
So that was another thing this guy was asking everybody, like, as a squirrel hunter, what are you using? What type of shotgun? Are you using 22? And then one of the bigger deals that everybody's going to now is the pellet rifles, just because they're quiet, they're efficient, and they're pretty daggum accurate.
I don't know. What was you saying? That one guy, what did he say he shot?
Well, there was 2 trains of thoughts on it. One of them was, of course, most people hunt with shotgun.
Yeah.
And they say, but the squirrel hunting dude, the head dude there, that he was like, he's rifle only. He wants to use I think he said he uses a 22 Magnum as his preferred rifle, but he doesn't knock anybody for using shotgun. He says he likes to eat squirrels. So that's one thing. That was one of his whole reasons for wanting to be a 22. You save
Shoot him in the
meat.
head.
You don't, and shoot them in the head, save the meat. And, but he said he don't have a problem with people using shotguns because he thinks like successful squirrel hunting, or if you're solo hunting, it's different than where if you got a bunch of guys out there. But he said he wants 2 or 3 with shotguns, and then he wants the cleanup man with the rifle. Or no, I think it's the other way around. I got it wrong. I think they're trying to kill him with the rifle, and then you need a shotgun guy to get them when they run. That's what it was. So he said as long as you kill the squirrel, he don't care how you do it. He just wanted to kill the squirrel.
I shot my pellet rifle several times squirrel hunting. I mean, it ain't a 22. I mean,
Daddy killed like 60 something.
It's not as forgiving as what a 22 is. You got to hit them. You got to hit them right.
Yeah. Well, his thing, now this is Kevin Murphy. If y'all don't know this guy, y'all need to check him out. He is the world's greatest small game hunter. He's like, that's what he's not named himself. I think that's like something, titles other people gave him. And I think he's got a website, Small Game Nation. Y'all can go check it out, but he's hunted small game all over, and he is into squirrels. Hunt squirrels with dogs. And his trick to killing squirrels, and the way he does it with a rifle, he says you can follow a squirrel, and when a squirrel's running along that limb, you can't see a whole lot of that squirrel. A lot of times he's circling it, he's staying on the back side of it, but no matter what, when he gets out to the edge of that limb, that squirrel's going to stop every single time before he jumps. So he'll run out to the edge, and that's where he'll jump. He'll say, if you'll wait and be patient and not shoot and know that squirrel's going to stop, you can track him, get to the point where he's going to get out to that limb, and then you can shoot him and hit him every time. Well, if you're a good shot, I guess. But he said where the shotgun guy messes up is the whole time he's running the limb, they're shooting at him.
Yeah.
And then they're anticipating a shot when they get out there, and they shoot him in the body, mess all the meat up or whatever. And he says, if you'll wait and shoot as soon as that squirrel jumps, because he's going to stop and he's going to jump. He said, you can shoot out ahead of him, hit him in the head with the shotgun too, and not ruin so much meat. So I don't know. I got something to try this year.
Try it.
Well, I
hadn't hunted them enough to pay attention. I mean, we just go squirrel hunt and shoot whatever's running,
Just try to get it.
Yeah, just try to hit one.
Well, if you go out by yourself, like if you go out hunting by yourself and you're not just like walking through the woods, you kind of know where the squirrels are going to be at. Like I really like hunting with a 22 rifle because you just you kind of go up, sit down by the tree, and you know where they're cutting at or feeding at or something. You just kind of sit there and pick them off. But like he was saying, if you're going out shaking limbs or running dogs or something, most of the time that squirrel's going to be
looking out.
He's going to, once they break him loose from the tree or whatever, shaking vines and stuff, he most time ain't gonna stop too many times.
Well, I've never seen squirrel. We went to Hardin Point. I don't know if it's because the trees are so tall and no leaves. I've never seen a squirrel cover that much ground across a treetop like than they do around here.
And they break out.
Oh, they're gone. They're gone.
Yeah.
You're literally on the ground running to keep up with them.
And they're covering 100 yards quick. Real quick.
Need that shotgun in.
That's what I was. I got good. I got me a squirrel gun now. I built one. And it ain't nothing fancy. I was going to ask y'all what if y'all had to pick, what would you say your squirrel gun of choice would be? But I did just a 1022 Ruger with I did the threaded barrel on the end so I could put a suppressor on it to keep it kind of quiet. And then I put one of those Loophole Freedoms. I think it's the Rimfire. Yeah. And man, it's a tack driver, dude. It's a good shooting little gun. It's quiet. You ain't gonna spook the other squirrels off with it, but it would be one that you'd want to kind of not still hunt them, but you'd want to ease around.
You want to
be
push
quiet. Them. Yeah. It's not something you're gonna just run and gun with, I wouldn't think. But
I don't know. It depends on if it was meant for me to survive or we just squirrel hunting. Like, I'd rather take a 22 if we're just going squirrel hunting, but if it's putting meat on the table, give me a 20 gauge. Give me something I can shoot up in the tree with.
When I was a kid, I always hunted with 410. I got older, 20 gauge, but I don't know. I like the 22 idea. We do it some if you're just like walking and stuff, but.
What about you, Mike?
Well, I mean, we've got, I don't know, Will's got a Remington automatic 22 and I've got a Marlin automatic 22 that I like hunting with. Both of them I prefer to hunt with. I do have an older rifle that that's got iron sights on it that I'll take every now and then if I want a challenge, but that's like steel hunting, like I was talking about. You go in there and sit down and you just sit there and kind of wait on them to get close enough to you. You don't really move too much once they get to moving around.
So I can't remember exactly what it was chambered, but Kevin Murphy said that he uses a 22 Magnum over, I think it's a 20 gauge. It's either over a 410 or over a 20 gauge.
Yeah, I've seen.
But it's the best of both worlds. He said you got the scatter gun and you got the 22.
Yeah, Daddy's got one. It's a 410 and a 22.
I don't think I've ever seen one. Have y'all ever shot one?
Yeah, it's a over and under.
Yeah,
it looked like an over and under shotgun. It's a stack barrel.
So I used a Magnum with my cousin one time squirrel hunting, and man, I don't know if it's the bullets he had or where I was hitting. You had a fur left when you hit it. If you didn't hit a head shot or neck shot, he was tearing crap up.
So what would you stick with? Just a 22 long?
Yeah, normal 22, yeah.
What was it? They used to squirrel hunt with a muzzleloader. What was it?
Yeah, I've seen Daddy do it. I don't remember what he loaded it with, but Daddy would.
You know that Kevin brought a Kentucky long rifle.
Yeah.
And he said
it's not like a 40, it's a smaller caliber. It's
like a 40 or 45 or something.
Maybe I
can't remember. I know what you're talking about now. It's got a little bitty on it.
I'm trying to see if I can find it. 32 caliber.
Yeah, it's a 30
Traditions.
Yeah.
Is it a long rifle, like a Kentucky long?
Yeah.
No, I've seen Daddy.
That would be pretty tough, man. You'd have to
kill one
dial in. You
shot him right through the head.
Was he barking at you?
Somebody was standing out there when I was sighting my muzzleloader in.
Yeah,
I forgot that
it was bouncing in the trees. I said, I bet I can hit that squirrel. No, you can't. I took that joker's head off.
Everybody gets lucky every now and then.
Is that what
I put the gun up.
Yep, that's on.
Gun shooting, it's on.
It's on. Don't mess with it. Hey, we're gonna go with a little muzzleloading hunt. I ain't been muzzleloading hunting in a long time.
You need to borrow one? I still got one.
I got one. It ain't got. I need to put a scope on it. I took it off.
So they're getting now. You can do with the muzzleloader with the rifle. I mean, you can buy a muzzleloader now to shoot 300-400 yards. No problem.
I think they're shooting smokeless powder now, ain't they?
I don't know. So a friend of mine's got one. It's stupid money. I mean,
what brand are they shooting?
I don't remember. It's all custom. I mean, it's probably $5,000-$6,000 gun easy.
The CVAs used to make some good ones back in the day.
I got tired of muzzleloader hunting after they changed all the rules. You got inlines and all that stuff. I mean,
that's when I put mine up.
They're still a muzzleloader, but those old hammer guns, they're so much fun to hunt with.
I hunted one forever, and finally I got the Encore, which pretty much inline, and then I hunted with it. Everybody else was doing a 35 Wayland, and 444 and 4570, and I toughed it out for a while, but I ended up getting the 35 barrel for mine. But
I got a 35 Wayland. I'd sell somebody.
Yeah, I never.
You don't like that gun? A lot of people love them, man.
I loved hunting with it, but I can't keep a scope on it. Like, it's broke every scope I've put on it.
I didn't. Once they changed that rule and they went into that solid, what is it?
Straight wall cartridge.
Straight wall.
Cartridge, you can shoot that. I just took my deer rod.
Yeah.
I'll just get a ticket.
You just
Which now you
you
can
just
hunt.
straight wall 308.
Yep.
No, you did.
Yes, I swear to God.
Which now on private land,
Yeah, private land, you can hunt
shoot
rifle whatever year round.
There's still like
Or year season round.
there's still a primitive weapon season for like 2 weeks or
Yeah.
whatever.
2 weeks early.
You're
and
still, but you
shoot
can
2 weeks
use
late.
the straight wall cartridge.
Correct.
So
No, not straight wall.
you can't.
Pre 1900 cartridge.
Oh, that's what it is.
So like the 444, 35 Wayland. So 35 Wayland ain't straight wall, but it's an older round, so that's the reason it's legal.
South
Does it have to be like a breech load or?
Yes, it has to be a single shot breech load to be considered primitive. The 350 Legend is not a primitive round,
Yeah.
even though it is a straight wall cartridge.
But you'd also hunt with a shotgun, though, right?
Not a primitive weapon.
Why? It was made before a rifle was.
I don't know.
Some
Ours, I think,
places you can only hunt with a shotgun during primitive weapons. Like over there where Trent at, like they're hunting on, I guess, like near the Tom Bigby, you have to shoot a shotgun. Because that's what I was talking to him. I was like, you can't shoot a 35 Wayland. He said, no, it's got to be a muzzle loader or a shotgun.
So there was one of those seasons at Arca Butler there for a while. I don't know if they still have that shacgun only area.
It,
I
yeah, it's a
first
small,
started
it's a
hunting.
small section. It is.
High school, I would go down there and we'd hunt with the 12 gauge.
Yeah, it really don't make no sense to me. If you can hunt with a high powered rifle.
35 Wayland is nothing but a 30-06.
Yeah.
12 gauge.
I don't know. I guess they think it's safer some kind of way. Bullet doesn't travel as far or something. I don't know. I know when you go in one of the government lands where it's like that, you think you're snuck off in there and it gets daylight and all you see is orange all around you. And then when they get to shooting at a doe that you're not even supposed to be shooting, it's like, yeah, you better go on back to the house. Be a little safer.
Pretty much around here in government land, you got to walk. If you're getting out of the truck and walking less than 500 yards, you're still
Far
amongst
enough away.
everybody else.
So we're going to do a squirrel hunt this year.
I think so. I didn't realize. So I got to looking when they were talking about it. Arkansas season's so long, man. Their season goes from June 1st all the way to February, into February.
They're open
That's a
almost
long-
10 months.
Yeah, that's it's probably the longest season there is for some kind of small game animal. In Mississippi, I looked at it, and so we have 2 seasons.
Yeah.
We have a spring season, but it's only like from the middle of like May 15th to June 1st. So they give you 2 weeks, and then I guess that's 2.5 weeks, something like that. But then it kicks back in, and we get our fall season that goes all the way to February. So I guess it just takes off kind of June and July. Is it August? I think it is when it starts back up. So we got a pretty long season, but I mean, I just don't want to hunt them.
I don't want to hunt them before frost
Yeah.
or before a couple of frost, really.
That's what I was going to ask y'all about. Is it because of the wolves?
Yep.
Yeah.
Man,
See, that's
Warbles. Have y'all heard them called warbles? Squirrel warbles.
All right.
That's I don't know if that's a northern thing or what, but when I got to looking at it, I've always heard them called wolves. And so I started searching, what is a squirrel wolf? What actually is it? Because you always hear them getting it, and it's a botfly larva. So they actually get bit by this bumblebee looking fly, and it lays eggs on them. When they hatch, they go into their skin, and it grows and it comes out.
It's so
And,
nasty.
and I guess the main time, probably in Mississippi, when it does it, it's got to be when it's hot. So that's probably the break in the June, July season. Then we start getting cooler weather. I guess it kills them or they hatch out and you don't see them anymore. But rabbits can get it. Any kind of rodent, any kind of rodent can get it.
See, the weird thing about that is like when we go down to the Sunflower down there and hunt, there's none of the squirrels have wolves in them. We killed, 89 squirrels that first day.
And that was early last year.
Was it?
September.
Oh, so that was,
It's in October.
had it frosted yet? Well, not down there, especially.
It had not frosted. And I asked my brother, I was like, I don't want to shoot them things. They got wolves in them stuff. I go down there and hang out with y'all and cook, do all that stuff. But I don't care about going out there shooting them and they got them in them. So, and he told me they didn't have them. He said, the only thing I can figure is that fly is not present down here.
Yeah.
I wonder if something to do with the cattle or horse population up here versus there,
That's
maybe.
what I was thinking.
Well, they do.
Yeah.
They do bite cows too.
Yeah.
Lay them on them. So it could be if there's enough cows, maybe they don't mess with them. But
We ate up with them at the house.
really, when you kill the squirrel there, do they all have them?
No, I don't mean acorns are starting to drop in my yard, like the smaller acorns.
Yeah.
And squirrels all over them. And I was out the other day cutting grass and peeling around. And I looked, man, one of them had one on the side of his face. I mean, look at a big old pop knot on his head, you know. And I was like, oh.
Well, they say it doesn't hurt you at all to eat that animal that's got them. And most of the time it's on their head or their
It's
front
not past
shoulder,
the flesh.
neck.
Like,
yeah.
when you skin them, it's
Yeah.
off, but it
Yeah.
still looks bad.
But it's the thought of it being a worm in there, I guess, or a larva.
I don't know.
I mean, I had never paid attention.
I mean,
but I've never ate one like
It's
that.
like if you go to Waffle House, that old girl with the style on her eye, do you want her fixing your food? No. Like, so
If
I don't
you
want
had
to
choices,
eat the squirrel. that's
depending on
got it
how
either.
hungry you are, you'd eat that squirrel if it had wolf on it.
But they used to not.
Yeah.
Kind of ain't got a
mean-
choice at that point.
Them hindquarters, but if it ain't got them in the hindquarters, you might as well eat him in the saddle.
But it was colder when I was early years, teenage years. We squirrel opening day October. We was squirrel hunting, and I never even seen one in a squirrel till I got grown.
I've killed some that didn't have them in there, but a lot of them do. You're just chancing it having them in there. If you don't want them, it ain't no need in going till we get a frost because you're going to eventually run up on one.
Well, that and I don't want to fight ticks and chiggers and
Well, that's the other thing.
everything else that's out there. It's kind of like
There's
bow
got
hunting.
ticks and fleas all over them that time of the year too.
Oh man, I used to hate doing that rabbit hunting. You kill a rabbit, got fleas all over it, and you're gonna put it in your back pocket, knowing that thing's getting all over you.
Oh, that first doe me and Malcolm killed down here at this property during bow season. We shot that doe, and she looked like she was moving. I mean, she had so many fleas on her. It was bad.
Yeah, people don't think about that long. When you go squirrel hunting, and just say you go off somewhere, squirrel hunting, you throw them all in your bag and you fling them in the back seat of the truck or whatever to keep them out of the sun.
You infest.
Every one of them fleas, once that squirrel dies, come off of him and go in your pickup.
I never thought
It's
about
everyone.
that.
Once he dies, they have no reason to be on him.
Yeah.
anymore. They're not feeding off of him.
So they just
don't-
looking for
come
they
off
looking
of
for a new host.
How
It'll
do
be
ticks and
you.
everything come off of
Yeah.
him.
How do they know that quick?
Because the body temperature start changing. I mean, I've been rabbit hunting. You'll see them, just jump off of it.
Yeah, but it's like when we shot that doe down here out of the ground blind that first time we hunted, we shot her, heard her crash, and within 5 minutes I walked up to her and like they were already just bailing.
Yeah.
They were off.
Mm.
Ticks were coming off.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah.
Some do a temperature change, blood flow, or something.
But no.
They know what's fixing to happen.
Yeah.
Jerk that skin off of them. They ain't got nothing to eat on. They got to go.
But I would definitely go back to Squirrel Cook Off. It was I
say
want to cook it now.
put that on your calendar if you want a sporting type event to go to, or any kind of game cook off. You need to put squirrel cook off, even to just to spectate.
So what?
I mean, there's a lot of things that you can go around and see there too. And, I know this time we didn't get to spend a lot of time doing that because we were cooking and serving and talking to some folks. But, they do have like the pack mountain goats, that you can go over and see and, talk to those guys about that stuff. And I think they actually do like a guide service too.
Yeah, I think so.
And then, there were some vendors out there that had, those high powered air rifles,
Crappie guys were there.
crappie sticks,
What was the name of that company?
ACC crappie sticks. Andy with ACC crappie sticks was there. So he was, had some products out there and was talking about his products and things like that. I don't know. There were some other folks there too. I can't remember everybody that was there. Those are the ones that I seen anyways. But
There's a bunch, and the whole place it's at the Ozark Highlands Nature Center.
Yeah.
So it's like a museum on the
That
inside
place
of
is
it.
top notch.
Did you walk through there and look at some of the exhibits?
Every time I went up there, it was so crowded you couldn't even get in. But that place the facility itself was huge.
They have a full blown like quail habitat where they're studying them, and I don't know if they're doing them to release them back to the wild or what they're doing, but they're actually hatching birds and studying their habitat and trying to get repopulate the quails in the state of Arkansas.
It was a good time. We got to talk to that Kill Shot Coffee Company.
Yep.
That was kind of I guess they're fairly new to the game, and they were super cool to talk to. Of course, the Cooking with Cajun guy, we talked to him. And then who was trying to think where I bought the hats from. What was the name of that company? They were there with the Cooking with Cajun. They were next door. Michael bought a hat, but I can't think what the brand or what name they were, but it was good looking hats.
You bought one too, didn't you?
I bought 2 of them. Should have wore it today, but
I forget what company.
That's there. It's probably a dozen or so vendors up there, probably at least.
There was other stuff to do besides just eat squirrel.
yeah.
Well, the whole thing was they encouraged everybody there to cook stuff and to share it with everybody, the people walking around. And so usually when you go to one of these events, you don't get to try the food.
Yeah.
Well, here they encouraged you because they're trying to turn people on to eating game, to eating squirrel, to eating different stuff that you might not think about that you could go out and find in your state. And that was one reason why I wanted to be a part of it, is because not enough people are doing that. They're not showing kids how to do that anymore. I mean, for them just to have 1,200 kids to let them shoot air rifles and to get some experience and get a little bit of training from some people showing them some safety stuff. All that's good stuff, man. Those kids are learning.
Yeah. In Arkansas is different. If you've never been in that area, there are some big cities in there, but there's a whole lot of country up there. So it's a lot different than like where we live out here, where, ours used to kind of be like that, but now we're overpopulated down here in North Mississippi.
How many of them argued with you that Arkansas it's harder to kill a turkey in Arkansas than it is in Mississippi?
Oh, there was a few. There's been a few of them.
They didn't like that statement.
They didn't like that statement that I made on one of the podcasts. What I was saying was our turkeys are smarter than the ones in Arkansas. That's what I was trying to get at.
It ain't that the terrain's hard.
No, the terrain of hunting in Arkansas, I do not want to go over there and climb up and down mountains hunting turkeys.
So you said giving out free food. So Malcolm, your wife, she probably got asked 1,200 times, so what is this we have here? And she was real polite. She said, this is going to be a chicken sausage jambalaya. I told Rochelle, I'm like, I believe we could tell them it was just anything, just make up something. Anyway, this lady come up there, and it was her and her husband. She said, what do we have here? I said it was snake and turtle or something. I just made up something. She's like, oh my gosh, honey, you got to come try this. I mean, I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters what you told them was in there.
You could have been a sewer rat.
Yeah, they was going to eat it. They was going to try it.
Well, the guy cooking the fritters, he'd been over there cooking fritters for an hour, like just nonstop, and his pan never got full.
Well, I finally said something.
And he kept he's like, man. He said, well, it's a lot of fritters. Well, every time he'd turn and get some out, somebody'd walk by and get a handful of them and keep on walking.
I mean, they never asked nothing. They just walked by and seen a tray sitting there with fried food in it. They got a bite and left.
They got in our line. See, that's what the bad thing was. You went in our line and you dumped out the back of his cooking booth. That's where his little kitchen was for the contest.
They were walking through his cooking area.
They didn't have to. He went right behind it. And he did. They looked good, too. They were fried up golden brown. They had them draining on a rack on paper towel. And the jokers were. And I was like, man, we might ought to tell. I told Marcus, we might ought to mention to that guy, those people are taking his food.
Well, so the big line that was lining up past our booth and go down there and it hooked to the right, what was that line for? Where were they going in at? Or what were they trying to get?
So they were there doing it was like the state of Arkansas was doing IDs for kids.
Yeah,
So there was a big line doing that. And then there was a big line for the crappie guys were giving out fish breading, weren't they?
Yeah.
And so people were lined up going down that you're talking about down that middle aisle?
Going toward the bathroom, and it hung a right.
Yeah,
that was going towards the crappie guys, I think.
The crappie guy, the pack goats, and the ID, they was all like side by side. And they both times I went down that way, they was lined up with people.
Those pack goats, the goats that didn't have no ears.
Yeah, but that was a pretty unique story. So they used those goats to get in a lot of that terrain over there in Arkansas that's not, it's not easily accessible with vehicles.
Horses or anything.
Or, even horses or mules can't get in some of it. Well, they're these goats, and they get to like big size is like 180 pounds, and they can carry up to like half their body weight. So they were loading these goats up, and he said they might use them to go in like on a hunting trip. That's how they carry their tents and gear and all that stuff in. But a lot of times they're using them for recovery. Yeah. Like deer to bring a bear out, to quarter up a deer and bring it out. No, people will get these goats, and I guess they hire them, or I don't know how all that works, but I thought it was pretty cool. They just got these saddlebags that they put on a goat, and I watched a video of it. There's one guy that kind of leads the pack of goats, and there'll be a guy at the very end, and those goats are covering some ground.
Oh, they're smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, if you got a string of 5 or 6 of them, you're talking about 500 or 600 pounds.
You can tow
equipment or whatever that they can haul.
So they live like, what did he tell me, 18 years, and they can pack their full life.
Yeah,
he said, now you don't put as much weight on them as they get after they get to about 11, 12 years old. He said they do take the weight down some, but he said this goat that was here was like almost 18 years old, and he said he's still working.
So was there something? That one big goat that come by us that was behind us for a while that did not have ears.
That's the breed. That's the
breed. Why? I wonder why.
I don't know what the.
I didn't know if
advantage
it
of
was
that is.
something happened to it or what.
Yeah,
but
it looked weird.
Yeah, it looked weird.
Well,
That goat weighs over 200 pounds.
that's a big
It was
goat.
180. That
200.
one was the one that was 180 pounds. I think that's the same one I took my picture with.
So it's probably
Last
about the
year-
size
Now,
of
there
a,
was one he had last year. It was 225 pounds or something like that. It was a monstrous goat.
so that one was probably the size of a full-grown adult doe, probably.
It was 180 pounds. That's a big doe.
Yeah.
It was
I mean, I'm
that's
just
the size of our
saying, like
bucks.
height-wise and stuff.
Oh,
it was,
yeah.
it was.
Well, that was one you don't realize like standing hoof height. That's
Oh,
about
people-
the
people
height
do.
of a deer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people think
You
a
know?
deer is like 5 foot tall.
Yeah,
with
no,
his
they're
back,
not
and
that
not.
big if they're standing up. It's deceiving.
Yeah,
But the other cool thing about like goats, if you use them for like pack animals, still like horses and stuff, I mean, a goat will eat anything. You can park him
He'll
over
survive.
the thick of the tree and he'll eat the
He's
bark
good to
off
go.
of 'em. You ain't
Huh.
got to take no feed.
As long as you got water, he's all right. Oh, I know. Last year when we saw them, they'd had them goats out kind of by the road where we had in that parking lot, and they were on the edge, and they had got a new tent and had their tent canopy cover thing, the little sack it goes in, the boxes, and they had them goats tied up there. By the end of the day, they
done
done
ate
ate
that
box. He'd ate the box, he'd ate the tent cover. Because they got to talking and not paying attention to what the goats was doing, and me and Mikey got to laughing. Man, I was like, watch these goats, Mikey. They're eating everything over there.
Them jokers will, man.
Oh, it'll be bare dough.
I've seen them things eat a steering wheel off a tractor one time and the seat and everything.
Oh, if you got time, that's one of the best ways to clean up some land.
oh, kudzu. Yeah.
There's people that have like packs. I don't know what you call them. It's a herd of goats or flock of goats. You can rent them. They'll bring them out. They'll put a temporary little fence up around what property you want cleaned up. They'll turn them goats out there for a week or two. Next thing you know, all the briars, the underbrush, everything, they'll eat it down to the dirt if you leave them long
That's what I was
enough.
going to say. You remember Seth Stedham that we met over at when we went and spoke over at Olive Branch at that farming
Yeah.
thing. So I went to school with him. Well, he did a little study there in Hernando right there on 304.
304,
He
yep.
fenced in that area on 304 and he stuck goats out there to try to manage the kudzu that was there.
How'd it do?
Oh, it mowed it down
It
to
even
dirt.
down, but
You ain't going, yeah.
it only lasts so long, before it starts coming back. But yeah, I mean, they managed it and maintained it. They eat all that kudzu that was out there.
When they get rid of the John Deere and go goat.
No, I'm gonna be hard pressed not to cook it next year.
So what would you cook? Do you already have a dish in mind? You gonna
I
do squirrel
didn't, but
jambalaya?
I do now that Mikey said somebody turned in pizza.
Yeah,
Oh, that'd be easy. That'd be fairly easy.
That was I think they was back like 2 rows behind us at doing
So do they? My question is, do they inspect the squirrel
Yes,
Yeah.
for the So what are they looking just for? Does it have to be on the bone
has
Can
to
it
be
be
whole squirrel on the bone.
yeah.
before you
Not
do
cooked.
anything to it? So you can't marinate it, you can't inject it.
Can't do
No,
nothing.
I think he said you have it in salt water, didn't he?
Yes,
As long as it's cold. I mean, the main thing, they want it
Yeah.
cold, safe temperature.
So, but you couldn't come with a bunch of deboned squirrel meat.
No.
no,
No.
it has
You
to
have to
be
do
whole
that there. So if you were going to do a squirrel pizza, would you bring a pressure cooker and try to get it tender as you could,
have to.
fast as
Yeah,
you
I was gonna
could?
say, you have to.
I would
That's the
treat
only
it-
way, because when I judged it, that was my biggest hang up. Some people did not get the squirrel chewable. I mean,
Right.
and tough squirrel, man, you can't
Oh,
get it off the bone.
You can them little yearling squirrels and smaller squirrels like grays. You can
Yeah, I like it.
what?
Oh, yearling squirrel.
You can take them and probably put them. They're still gonna they're not gonna be real tender, but they will be tender enough you can eat them without doing any kind of prep work to them. But you get a big gray or a fox, you better put that joker in a crock pot or a pressure cooker or something.
that or, I don't know, I guess you could debone it and tenderize it.
I'd braise it down with some onions, and I would treat the pizza like a prime rib pizza: horseradish sauce, or chimichurri, some onions, mushrooms, a lot of cheese.
Would you just put his loins?
No, I'd
You'd
braise
use
the whole thing
you'd
down.
use the
Like,
whole
it'd
squirrel?
almost be like a shredded, like-
shredded
Yeah, like
squirrel.
pulled squirrel.
See, I'd
I
have
ain't never
to,
done it. I don't know,
Yeah.
but it sounds like it might be.
I'd
good.
have to be basic. I'd have to go to old cream potatoes and gravy kind of route.
If you
I
can
think it
nail
would
it,
be
man.
good.
I'd have to
think
get
it
somebody
would
to
be
fix gravy
good.
for me, but I
I think if you did squirrel and mushroom and maybe a couple other little vegetables in there to make it pop, that would be on not like a traditional red sauce,
Yeah,
like a white sauce,
do a white sauce or truffle.
like a truffle, like a truffle Alfredo or something.
Well, what turned in had to have been good because at the end I went down to Townsend Spices booth, which is right where I guess the judge's turn in was, and they had what we call the grazing table. So all the leftovers in the to-go boxes, they were piled up 6 foot high probably. And man, people come up there and just off the street, opening the box, look at it. If it didn't look good, they set it down. If it did look good, they took it, went over and sat down next to the wall and just went to eating on it. There's no way. I'd be sick at my stomach. I couldn't do that for nothing.
What was the roughest thing that you had to eat?
Huh?
What was the roughest thing? Like, does anything like turn your stomach or you didn't want to eat? No. Yeah, because you came back and you said you had a taste in your mouth. And you were,
It was that.
what was it?
Well, that one smoked squirrel. I mean, I hope this guy doesn't get offended by this, but that had to been his first time. But that one smoked squirrel, man, it was. I hope them folks didn't go up yonder and say, "Ooh, there's a squirrel leg there," because I done chewed on it,
and laid it back in the box.
And
they didn't care. They ate it.
Teeth marks.
Somebody bit after.
They did not care.
It was, but that one was just. I mean, everybody on the table was trying, to get it loose, and they couldn't.
What did end up winning it? Do you know?
I don't even know who.
I want to say. No, I really don't remember.
We loaded up.
We loaded up and we're gone.
Yeah.
Well, I went and did that podcast before it was over. That was pretty cool too. If y'all want to listen to that, go to Bear Grease.
Is it live yet?
It should be. It should be live. But we did kind of his Bear Grease render after the fact. Right after that contest, it was pretty interesting. We had, Mr. Clifton Jackson on there from State Arkansas. He was the squirrel winner, and we had Kevin Murphy on there too.
That was a pretty quick turnaround trip, so we didn't have much downtime at all.
No, Mike, you did get to go cook a steak. I will say, if you go to Springdale, Arkansas, don't go for quality service or restaurants because you ain't gonna find it there.
Well, I don't know. The Mexican restaurant, that dude was on point.
Yeah, that was good. The Mexican restaurant.
That was probably one of the best Mexican restaurants service wise I've ever been to.
Steakhouse hostess, she can go kick rocks.
I had a blast at the steakhouse.
Great.
Yeah, the bartender. What was that called? The All American Steakhouse.
Steakhouse
and Entertainment Center or something
like that.
The hostess thought she was working the Capitol Grill or something. She was a heifer.
Yeah, we kind of went in and took over, went into the bar, and the next thing Mikey. So when you walk in this place, it's one of those places where they got a counter full of steaks. You can pick out your raw steak and you can see them through the glass with the big grill back there cooking. And the one side is a nice restaurant, the other side's kind of the sports bar. Well, as the night goes on, I think y'all end up going back to the hotel to get some rest. And me and Mike, we were, a couple of us were still there watching football. And next thing I know, I go to the bathroom and Mikey's back behind the glass, got a hairnet on, cooking steaks. How did that come about, Mikey?
So I went up there to the hostess and I was talking to her. I was like, "Hey, what is it?" I said, "I want to order a steak." I said, "But I want to cook it. I don't really want y'all to cook it." She was like, "Well, you can't do that." I said, "You want to bet?" I said, "I'll tell you what." I said, "Hire me for 30 minutes and then fire me. Once I get through cooking
you got to do the paperwork?"
Yeah. Well, she handed me an application. I started filling it out. And I told her, I said, "I'll give y'all $100 to let me go cook my own steak." So she told me, "So let me go get the manager." And the manager came out and said, "Are you serious?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm a world champion steak cook." I lied.
I'm a world champion steak cook. I'm here at the World Champion Squirrel Cook Off too.
So he brought it out there and I paid for the steak. I tipped him the $100.
Did you pick which one you wanted?
Yeah, yeah. So there's some Spanish girls standing back there, and I leaned up on the counter, was talking. They were the ones that were back there cooking. And I said, "I'm fixing to come back and show y'all how to cook a steak." She said, "You're not coming in my kitchen. You're not coming in my kitchen cooking no steak." And I said, "Watch. I'm fixing to be back. I'm going to show you how to cook." So anyways, the guy come back there, and she looked at me and said, "You're not coming back here." And I said, "I'm coming back here right now." So when I come around the corner, I was like dancing and kind of got up on her a little bit, messing with her.
Trying to catch a charge.
Aggravate her. I just started hooping and hollering back there. Anyways, they gave me my hairnet and my gloves and let me pick my steak out, and I cooked it. But
it was dang good because you came back to the bar.
Yeah.
It was a perfectly cooked steak. That's probably the best steak come out of the kitchen that night.
Them jackers trying to run me out of that kitchen so fast.
Well, so that's not a bad concept. There's a place in Memphis. What's that place? The Butcher Block?
This should be the butcher shop.
Butcher shop, where you actually go there, you pick out your steak, and you can cook it if you want to.
And you're
just taking that concept.
Yeah.
You're just taking that concept to Springdale, Arkansas. Now, you probably go back there now. They got $100 cook your own steak.
Yeah,
either that or a picture of me on the wall. Do not let this guy in the kitchen.
There's either two ways that's going.
Yeah,
they didn't want us to come back second night, did they?
No.
Man, y'all hyped up this wing joint that was god awful.
Sorry about that. That was my man. That was going to be the highlight of my weekend.
They didn't want no service neither. They didn't want us in there.
That was so disappointing because they really had good wings last year when we were up there. And even the other people that were with Shane and Lawson.
All of them,
they came in and they were like, Man, we were so excited about eating at that wing place we eat at last year, and it was god awful. It was just terrible. That was the worst wing I've ever eaten.
It wasn't cooked. It'd been all right if it had been fried, but it needed about 15, 20 more minutes in the grease.
My thing is, you walk into a restaurant like that, and we're getting off on a tangent now, but you walk in a restaurant and there's not a soul in that restaurant, and they huff because you walked in.
Yeah, we probably
You ruined their day.
Yeah, like, oh, we actually going to make money now.
we probably brought in $3,000 between everybody.
We should have. See, I didn't know this till we got back home later that night, and Chelsea's like, I should have told y'all this was not going to be good, because she had went to the restroom as soon as we went in, and she said, there was 2 stalls in the women's restroom, and she said she's in the restroom, and somebody comes in there and is hollering, come on, you got a table, you got a table, you got a table. And Chelsea, next thing she knows, she sees 2 feet plop down beside her. Oh. The girl's been sitting up on back of the toilet, just hiding out. And she said she guessed she was in there smoking a cigarette or whatever, playing on her phone. But then she goes out, and that's who was waiting on us. It was not a good experience.
No, it wasn't.
But the Mexican restaurant,
I'm going back. I probably wouldn't go back to that
I'll
place,
go to the Mexican restaurant again.
But I'll definitely go back to Springdale to go to the Squirrel Cook Off.
We cooking it?
I mean, yeah. I don't have a problem. I know Mark wants to
throw me off.
Mark, yeah, I didn't know. I thought Mark.
I was giving you time.
I thought you had something you was finna kick you in. Wait a minute, I got to tell you something. But no, I'll definitely go back. I mean, it was fun. It was fun giving out. It was fun giving out jambalaya. I mean, I don't have a problem. If we go back and you got to cook it, it's going to be two different things. We probably won't be able to give out as much food.
I wouldn't be scared to do a squirrel jambalaya.
I wouldn't either.
And just turn that in. Yeah. So the deal is, though, you got to do 2 dishes. You got to do a main dish and a side dish.
Yeah. There you go.
And you're judged on how much squirrel is in both. Kind of, they both need to have squirrel. But I think the pizza would be the way to go. And then you could do like squirrel meatball,
Italian style meatball,
or a squirrel ravioli, or anything like that.
If you done a meatball and like a little hoagie bone with some melted cheese and a slice of pizza, shoot, that'd be
or
solid.
Some fried mozzarella squirrel cheese, like like a fritter.
That little fritter thing was.
You could do that.
Yeah. I just want somebody to explain to me the squirrel ice cream.
Oh man!
Everybody I talked to said that was the best ice cream they've ever had.
And you know what it was? Cream. So that was talked about in our podcast, and that was when we had him on the podcast here a week or so ago, but he had to give a disclaimer on that one because that was actual squirrel brain ice cream. And
it's pecan praline, though, correct?
I don't know what else was in it.
What he said,
but it had squirrel brains in it. But you're not. I mean, they do not recommend you eat squirrel brains now because it causes the same thing. It's like mad cow.
Yeah.
And you can get it it's been known to transfer from the brains of squirrel. So used to, squirrel brains was a delicacy. Yeah. I remember my grandpapa, eating squirrel brains and eggs. And, I've heard of other people, they would take them and eat them with a spoon. They kind of boil the heads and eat them with a spoon.
Nope.
But they had took some and put it in that. And then for you taking a chance, that was one thing Kevin Murphy, the world's #1 small game hunter, said, if I can tell you anything, he told us this on this podcast, he says, do not eat. He said the brains of any animal, not just squirrels. And he's been all over the world hunting small games. He said he will never eat brains again of anything because of the diseases it causes. So it's not curable.
I've never
talked to that guy before I got me a big mouthful of that ice cream.
He didn't tell you all that before you ate it, did you?
I think they told that when I got up to go to the bathroom.
Oh.
I came back, there was ice cream.
So knowing that, Jamie, would you try it? There ain't no way I would.
I like ice cream.
Ice cream.
I don't know.
You think the cold would kill it?
I'd have to think about it for a second.
I don't even think fire kills those prions. It's like it has to be at a certain temperature for a certain amount of time to kill it.
See,
it's too many other good things on this earth to eat for me to worry about eating somebody's brains.
I said that too till I ate mountain oyster too, and they're pretty daggone good.
It's opposite end.
Yeah, opposite end. But
I didn't eat mountain oyster. No, I didn't heard that they cause any cancer or anything.
Make you strong like bull.
Yeah. That's the guy told us after the contest.
Calf fries. Is that calf fries? Is that what it was?
It was. Yeah. We was at a barbecue.
Bull balls, basically. Yeah.
Jamie coming to try this. Damn, you got some
sliced and fried up with gravy. They're pretty dang good. Yeah, I ain't knocking them.
I just don't like serving them with white gravy though. It gets weird when you start serving white gravy.
Oh, man. On that note. So we got a contest going on, Mikey?
Still got the contest running, small game month. We do have some pictures in there. A lot of people posted some fish and some small game hunts, dove hunts, and things they've been on. Y'all go on the Buck Junkies outdoor club and post your pictures under we made a post on there where you can post your pictures up under it.
Facebook, right?
Yep, Facebook. And just post your pictures on there and we'll pick a winner after this month.
I've got a sweet backpack I need to give away.
That's what I was going to say. Man, if y'all get on the community and y'all got a cool hunting gadget that's something you can't live without or something that's
let
gimmicky,
us know.
let us know.
We want to try it.
We will test it.
Yeah, that's for sure. We got some more stuff coming. Put some pictures of, what'd you call them, yearling squirrels? I want to see some pictures of a good batch of yearling squirrels. That's what we're going to put on our hit list, Mark.
Yearling?
We need, how many do we need? At least a dozen? For the
Need at least a dozen.
So we're going to put them in the freezer, get them vacuum sealed. You
The rate we went last year, that'll cost
up.
us, it takes us about 10 years to get it done.
Yeah, the day we went, I killed one. That was it.
We're going to get them this year. We're going to get them.
But
that's it for us today.
we appreciate y'all listening. Y'all check us out on all the platforms. Again, y'all shoot us some ideas. If y'all got some cool stuff out there you want to see reviewed or us tortured, you let us know. We'll take care of that. But we appreciate y'all listening. Give us a like and a follow, and we'll see y'all next time.
We gone.